Okay, I'm recording now. Okay, so I'm getting this edition now. Okay, now where am I? Okay, now we're going to do now imperfect markets. Okay, and one of the imperfect markets that you need to understand, there's actually three. And who can tell me what's the three imperfect markers that we need to know? Who can tell me what's the three? What's the three? It is the monopoly.
Question?
Monopoly, what else?
I don't remember.
Oligopoly,
I think I forgot.
oligopoly, and monopolistic competition. Okay? Monopolistic competition. Now, can you see
That's
on the
nice.
next page? Can you have a look at your next page? You see 7.1 key concepts. Can you see that? Rana, Mahmouda, can you see that on the next page? Key concepts.
Yes, and yeah, yes.
Okay,
Concepts, key concepts.
you need to know these key concepts. These key concepts are very important. Okay. Here you'll have to know, and I'll tell you what is important ones. Okay. Most of it is important actually. Artificial monopoly. What's an artificial monopoly? This is the barriers to entry are not economic in nature,
The
but are
berries
caused
to
by other
enter.
factors. For example, it's patented. In other words, when there's an artificial monopoly, it is exclusive. Okay. It is exclusive, which means, like, for example, ISCOM. It's exclusive. Am I right? No one else can get electricity. Am I right? So ISCOM is the perfect monopoly. Why?
Yeah.
Because there is only one seller. Am I right? And they selling the electricity to all
Yes.
the people in South Africa as well as to other countries. Okay, so that is artificial monopoly, which means the barriers to enter are not economic in nature, but are caused by other factors. For example, patent, which means ESCOM is patented. Only they have the right to sell electricity to anyone. Anyone else that sells electricity will be in problems. In other words, they are trespassing. Okay. Next one, a cartel. Cartel belongs to an oligopoly. Okay, to an oligopoly. So oligopoly are only a few sellers. In other words, if I may say an example of oligopoly, I would say it would be petrol stations, like maybe Shell, Caltex, um, all of those, Caltex, Engine, Cecil. Why? Because they can manipulate the price. Am I right? And Shell can go to, now remember, um, Shell and Total and Engine, they belong to a certain group. Okay? They belong to a certain group. Now they can determine the price of the petrol and say to the government, well, you know what? The price of petrol is going up. So what are they actually doing? They are colluding. Am I right? They are colluding. Okay? So they can manipulate the price. Okay, to say, listen, like Shell can go to Engine and say, listen, your price, let's make the price one time 25 rand. That means what? So they're going to agree. So everyone can make a huge profit. Am I right? Everyone can make a huge profit. Now, collusion. Let's go to cartel. It's a group of producers whose goal is to form a collective monopoly in order to fix prices. Can you see that? Can you see that? If you read cartel,
Yes.
okay, and limit supply and competition, which means they manipulate the price. Okay, next
Limit
one.
supply and competition.
Yes. Next one is collusion. you are arranging between the other companies what prices you can make it, which is actually illegal. Okay, it's illegal to collude, but it is happening. Okay, it is actually happening.
Okay.
Okay, now this three is very important: artificial monopoly, cartel, and collusion. Okay, I'm not going to go with the others because
Collusion.
that I need you to look at your own. Okay, now the characteristics of monopolies. Let's go to the next one. What are the characteristics of monopolies? There's only one seller. Okay, when you think of monopolies, just think of Eskom. Okay, just think of Eskom when you think of a monopoly. Now, what are the characteristics of monopolies? Number one, there's only one seller. Okay. Number two, there are barriers to entry, which means it is patented. No one can just sell that kind of product. No one can just sell electricity. Okay? Nobody. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay, more. Give me a second. There are two people in the room. Okay, who else? Who else is joining? You people are late. You are late. You must try to be on time, people, because I cannot wait on you guys because we have a time limit, and it's not nice to be late. Try to be on time. Try to be on time. I know, but even if you are in the car, you're traveling, you can use your phone, it's not expensive. Now data is very cheap, it's not expensive. Okay, let's continue. Now, there is only one seller. When you talk about monopoly, there's one seller. It's difficult to enter, okay? Number two, there's no close substitutes. Is there any close substitute when it comes to electricity? Everybody's trying, but they can't get them, all right? So there's no close substitutes, okay? Next one is there's no competition. No one can compete with him. It's basically impossible to compete with Eskom, okay? People are trying, they're trying to get different types of solar panels, but no one can come close to Eskom. So Eskom is complete a monopoly. Okay, next one. Yeah, that is all you need to know in terms of that, okay? Nothing else. You don't need to get into detail in terms of, okay, and because it's a monopoly.
Characteristics of monopoly, 3 points.
Yeah, you don't need a lot of points. They're not going to, because they're going to ask you maybe 3 points on monopolies, 3 points on oligopoly, and 3 points maybe on whatever the case may be. But normally they ask you 2, not 3. But if you want 3, they are there to make an economic profit. Okay, they're always going to make a profit, no matter what.
What is the other one, sir? You said oligopoly.
It's monopoly, oligopoly, and monopolistic competition. I'm back.
What is it?
Okay. Okay, I'm back on.
Okay.
Okay. Anyone else? Anyone else? I don't see Mr. Adams. Where's Mr. Adams? Mr. Adams on here? Okay. Next one.
Only 3.
Okay, next one. Where are we? Okay, so now we're done with that. Okay, we're done with that, others. Now, the characteristics you should know. Don't. It's only there are only one seller. It's very difficult to enter. There are no close substitutes, no competition, and what you can say the last.
No close substitute.
Yeah, there's no one that can compete with each other. Not compete. Normally, if you buy yum peanut butter, there is a substitute, am I right? Black cat, am I right? There's a substitute, am I right?
Correct.
Yeah.
But when it
Yeah.
comes to ESCOM, when it comes to monopolies,
Yeah.
Yeah.
there are no substitutes. You can, if you want Romani creams and there's no Romani creams, you can buy chocolate biscuits, am I right?
Yeah.
It's a substitute. Okay,
Yeah.
that's what it is. But because of a monopoly, there are no close substitutes. Unless you buy the Chinese lights, but it's only going to last for an hour. Okay. Next. Okay, so now you've got, and obviously there's no competition. You got that. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's come to the interesting part here. Okay. How do you draw a monopoly graph? This is very interesting. Now, what you need to know about the monopoly graph is this, that the law of demand, what is the law of demand? Who can tell me what is the law of demand? As price increases, quantity decreases. Okay. This is the law of demand. If price increases, quantity decreases. If price decrease, quantity increase. Got that?
Yeah.
In other words, if I say, let's assume you can get 10 burgers for 10 rand. Am I right? But if the price had to increase to 15 rand, in other words, it's 1 rand a burger. Okay, let's assume it's 10 rand a burger. Okay, 10 rand a burger. So you got the 30 rand. So you buy how many burgers? 3 burgers. Am I right?
3 burgers.
So you have a 50 rand. You buy 5 burgers. Am I right? Now, if the law of demand says if the price decrease, quantity will increase. So let's assume the price go to 7 rand. Would you buy more burgers?
Correct.
Yes.
Obviously, you're going to buy more burgers. Okay, it's like potatoes is normally 60 rand a bag. Am I right? Plus minus. Am I right? But let's assume the bags go to 40 rand. Are you going to buy more bags? 2 bags?
Of course.
Yes.
I'll buy 2 bags. Yeah.
Buy 2 bags. So that's just an example. Normally, I will say in quantity of 100, you will buy more. Okay, for supplies. Remember, when I talk to you, think of an individual, but also think of a business. Okay, think of a business. Okay, now, how does this work here at the table? Now, look at this line here. I'm going to show you. See this line here? This DD equal to AR.
Yeah.
This line there, that line there, it starts at 100. What's the quantity? I'm going to make it like this. 100. One quantity, am I right? Can you see that? 90.
Yeah.
90.
2.
90 is what?
2.
Right?
2 quantities.
2 years. 80 is what?
3.
You can see that 83. Now just look on the graph. Look on the table. Okay? When the quantity was 1, it's 100. Am I right? When the quantity was 2, the price was 90. Am I right?
Correct.
Yeah.
So in other words, if the price comes down, people buy more. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay. What is the total revenue? Total revenue is if one item costs 100 rand. What does 2 items cost?
200.
But remember, if the price comes down to 90 rand and you buy 2, then total revenue is 180 rand. Isn't that so? Okay. If the price dropped to 80 rand and you buy 3, what will the total revenue be?
214.
So what is total revenue? Total revenue is the quantity multiply by the price. Can you see that?
Mm.
The
Okay.
quantity.
Price multiply
The
by
quantity.
quantity.
Yeah.
Okay.
Multiply.
Okay. The average revenue is actually the average of that
The
particular
actual
price,
price is.
which is the price. Okay, so average revenue is
Yes.
80 rand, which means it's your price 80 rand. Now, marginal revenue. How does marginal revenue work? This you must write down. Marginal revenue is the change in total revenue. Marginal revenue is equal to the change in total
Marginal
revenue.
revenue is the change.
Now, in other words, come and show you. Come and show you. Look at quantity 2, price 90. Nah? Can you see that?
Mm.
The total revenue is 180. Can you see that?
Yeah.
What's next?
Yeah.
What is next after that? Price is 80, but the total revenue went to 240. Am I right?
Yeah.
Now, what's the change from 180 to 240? What's the change? 60, isn't that so?
60
Mm.
rand.
So that is your marginal
So there's
revenue.
the marginal revenue.
Yes. So if we go to the next one, 240. Okay, so if you go to 280, so it went from 240 to 280, which means your marginal revenue is 40.
40 rand.
Rand.
Correct. So it's a change. Your marginal revenue is your change in total revenue. You got that?
Yeah.
Now,
Yes.
they can give you something like this in the exams. So now you got to just fill in or they might give it to you in a multiple choice, or they might give it to you in exams, and they ask you to fill in the marginal revenue. Maybe it's for 4 marks, 5 marks. Okay.
Sure. It's a lot of marks.
They might ask you 2 for total revenue and 3 for marginal revenue. Whatever. They might make it 4 marks. I don't know.
Alrighty.
Are we getting
Huh?
You were breaking up there.
Okay. Are you fine now with me now?
Yeah.
The other person is breaking.
Who's breaking up?
The other person.
Am I breaking up?
No, you're fine.
No.
Okay. Now let's go down.
Okay,
Okay.
just stop quickly before you go further.
Yeah.
If I look at
Prices, so
when it comes to the price is 40 rand, right? Total revenue is 280.
I didn't know.
Average revenue is 40 rand. Why does it say there minus 20 in marginal revenue?
Minus 20. Okay. Now let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go. The price dropped to 50. Am I right? 50.
Okay.
Your quantity is what? You buy 6. Is total revenue is 300. Okay.
300.
Okay.
Hmm.
But why is your marginal revenue 0? Because 300 minus 300 is 0.
Zero.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's look at the next one. 40.
I see.
7. 4 times 7 is 280. So your marginal revenue is minus 20. Okay.
Minus 20, yeah.
Correct, yes.
Because it went up and then it came down again.
Correct, yes. Correct. So you will eventually know where not to drop your price, because once you're going to drop your price to a point, you can go into a deficit. Am I right?
Yeah.
Correct.
Correct. Which means if you are selling at 40 rand, you are losing 20, minus 20. Am I right? Which means at
Yeah.
50 rand, that you can say is basically your cost price. because you're making
Yeah.
nothing back.
Yeah,
Alright?
because you're not making anything, yeah.
Correct. Yes. Correct. Okay. Can I go further up? Can I go down?
Yeah. Down.
Okay. Now on the next page. This is very important. You need to know how to draw a monopoly
Economics.
in an economic profit short term. They can ask you how to draw the graph. Okay? They can ask you how to draw the graph. Now, here, the market price will be determined on the upper part of the average revenue curve. Now, you know, if you look at this first graph here, can you see? This is your demand curve here. This one here is your demand curve. This is your marginal revenue. Okay? So when now if you go back here, can you see here? You see marginal revenue. Marginal revenue comes from from this data here. Can you see that?
Okay.
So this rate, this MR, that is the marginal revenue. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Now when it comes to graphs, ek moet baie stadig gaan. That much I can tell you. Can you see price and quantity? I'm going to make it into a different color. This price and quantity here is this graph here in the blue. Can you see that? That's your demand curve in the blue. Am I right? Can you see that?
Yeah.
Now, the marginal revenue, stick to the price, but the marginal revenue, you can see at 100, it's 100. Okay? So look at here, this is the marginal revenue here. Okay?
6.
So look, you see here, you can look at the quantity. Look at the quantity and marginal revenue. Quantity is 1, marginal revenue is 100. Quantity is 2, marginal revenue is 80. Quantity is 3, marginal revenue is 60. Can you see there?
Yeah.
There. Oh God, let me not make that color. But anyway, in the red, let me just put red again here. Okay, look at the red. The quantity is 4, marginal revenue is 40. Quantity is 4, marginal revenue is 40. Do you see that? Can you see that?
Yeah.
That is what you have to know. The red line is your marginal revenue taken from the data. The blue is your demand curve taken. Now, how's marginal revenue taken? Quantity and marginal revenue. And how is demand curve? Quantity and price. Can you see that? The quantity stays the same, but the price is for demand curve and the marginal revenue is for the red curve, which is marginal revenue. Can you see that? Okay. Now you
Demand curve and what are
average revenue.
Average revenue.
So your line is bad. You are. Who is it? Wie is hy wat so praat? have a name?
With who?
The line is
Tammy.
Tammy.
Oh,
Okay,
Okay.
I'm gonna go down now. Now, I know that is a lot to absorb, am I right? This information is a
That's
lot.
why you're recording, so I can go over it.
Yeah, it's a lot to absorb. Okay, so now you have your marginal revenue curve and you have your average revenue, which is your demand curve. Now remember, it's two different curves, it's not the same. Okay?
Hmm.
Okay. Now, let's go here. The demand curve, which is this one here. Yeah. Let me change the color. Let's make this blue and let's make this red. Okay. That is the marginal revenue curve in blue. That is the demand curve. Now, the demand curve for a monopolist is the market demand curve. Can you see that? Okay.
Yes, sir.
And it's always a downward slope from left to right. I just needed to know the information, okay? That I just want you to know that. Okay? Now you got your marginal revenue curve and you got your demand curve. Okay, I just want you to know that. Next one. Here is a question. Economic profit on the short term. So what are you going to do? How are you going to draw the graph? I just want to make you understand simplicity here. Remember, there are two lines here. This is your vertical graph, your vertical line, and your horizontal. Your vertical is always your price. Okay? And your horizontal is always quantity. Got that? Vertical is price, horizontal quantity. Now, they say you first draw your two axes. Remember, they meet at the origin of 0 here. Okay. Now, step 2, the two revenue curves, which is the marginal revenue and the average revenue. The average revenue is your demand curve. Okay. The two revenue curves start at the price axis and move down to meet the quantity axis. So you're going to draw it like that. As you can see, you're going to draw it like that. That's your marginal revenue, and that is your average revenue. Okay. Now remember, these graphs normally come from data. Okay. Normally come from data. Now, this is important. This is important. Step 3. The marginal curve intersects at the average cost. The marginal cost curve intersects the average cost curve at the minimum point of the average cost curve. In other words, you already have your marginal revenue here, and you have your average revenue here. Okay? So now, the first thing you do, you do know the Nike sign, how to do a Nike sign, a Nike. Right?
Yeah.
I see the Nike sign.
Here's your Nike sign here. After the two lines, you do your Nike sign. There's a, did you see?
Yeah.
The blue. So first you draw your demand curve, which is your AR. Then second you draw your marginal revenue curve. And then number 3, just do it like Nike.
Nike sign.
Nike sign. Okay. Then the fourth curve, you do a bucky. Like a bucky. No, bucky. A bucky here. From the left to the right.
Will it always look like this?
Always. There's no changes. Always look like this. Okay. That, what I want you to do is to draw it. I want you to draw this curve now for me. First do your marginal revenue curve. First do your demand curve, which is your AR curve. Second, First do your price and your quantity. Your price and your quantity.
Quantity.
So you have your one vertical and your one horizontal. Then from your price on top, you want demand curve. Demand curve is called the average cost curve, which is down, slowed down. Then you do your marginal revenue curve, which is slightly steeper than the demand curve. Now that you got that two lines, you do the Nike sign, okay? And after the Nike sign, you do your Bucky sign. You got that?
Okay, very short.
This is what this. Okay.
Okay.
That's